You might well have heard about Deltacron, or I think they call it Florona recently. And perhaps after hearing those things, you just turned off the TV because ain't nobody got time for that. It's already so rough with Omicron and all that. And we just started the new year, but let me make you feel potentially a little bit better about those two things. And then you can go back to just being worried about Omicron and Delta. So Florona, which sounds like a combination of the flu and coronavirus, is kind of that, but it is not the combination you might fear. It is not a new thing where they have combined forces and are mutating into something horrendous. It is effectively being infected with both at the same time, which is bad, obviously. And during the winter, there's a chance of that happening. But don't worry about that being some new monster thing that's gonna mutate and spread on its own. So let's just get that out of the way. On Deltacron, it's a little bit more complicated and we don't know for sure, but you've probably seen reports coming out of Cyprus that they've discovered a new strain of COVID-19 that combines the Delta and Omicron variants. Now, if you just hear that, you rightfully might be terrified because Delta wasn't as transmissible, but was more deadly. Omicron, not as deadly, but very transmissible. The fear would be that if they combine, then you've got something that easily transmits but kills people. It so far does not seem necessarily like that is the case. They've identified 25 cases of Deltacron, and it is possible for coronavirus variants to recombine their genomes and form new strains. That is a thing that can happen. But one virologist at Imperial College London, Tom Peacock, says that Omicron is likely not circulated for long enough in a large enough population to actually produce a true recombinant. In any case, genetic details of Deltacron that have been published so far don't resemble a true recombinant. Instead, they quote, look to be quite clearly contamination of the lab in which the sequencing took place. So this is not to say that it cannot be a recombinant that combines the two, but so far the evidence doesn't seem to be there and we will have to continue to be on the lookout. Nina, thoughts?
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope and pray that it is just contamination. But again, it just brings us back to these conversations that we've been having over the course of this pandemic, that we all have to do everything that we can to try to tame this virus so that those kinds of things, that we can limit the likelihood. Now, viruses mutate. I mean, that's what they're designed to do. We're not going to be able to stop that. But what we can do is learn more, understand more, and be actively engaged. We got to be actors in it. Nobody can sit on the sideline when it comes to dealing with this pandemic, John.
Exactly.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.